This review looks at another piece of WSI heavy haulage. It's a big DAF XF tractor and it's fitted with a heavy Palfinger loader crane. It includes a 3-axle extendable trailer and the whole model is in the colours of John O'Neill of Ireland. There's no surprises in the packaging, it is factory sealed, and if we get the model out there are only 2 or 3 bits to it. One is the big DAF tractor and the other is the extendable trailer. But wait, there's more. Well, alright, don't get too excited, it's only a bag of small parts that can be fitted. This model does include some documentation and it's a small brochure for the Palfinger loader crane. It's quite good because it covers pretty much everything. Although it is generic, so it does cover features for models other than this one. But nonetheless, it's always good to have some instructions. There's not much assembly to do, there's an optional winding handle for the towing hitch at the rear of the DAF. And after that, to get the truck ready for the road, all we need to do is to hook up the trailer and tractor. And that's easily done with the kingpin of the trailer clipping into the 5th wheel on the tractor. It's good to see that the scaling is good, so there's plenty of movement possible between the tractor and trailer. Starting underneath the DAF, and it's a high quality chassis with many of the parts modelled in metal. And the detailing of the cab is a real high point. Let's zoom in and do a quick comparison to the real truck. And it's really a very good copy. Similarly, if we move on and look down at the grille, all of the details are accurately copied. The wheels look very smart, but the quality of the graphics really sets this model apart. Of course the real truck looks good, but that's really translated through into a very good looking model. Even the Palfinger loader crane is modelled with some convincing tiny graphics. The profile of the boom looks good and there's a fixed hook at one end. And if we continue on to the extendable trailer, that continues the high standard. And there are plenty of small details such as hoses underneath. There's graphics on the headboard and the replica timber deck looks convincing. Detailing of the extending section is also very good, and it includes a coiled hose. Here we are out on the Cranes Etc. test track, and the DAF doesn't roll entirely smoothly because of some friction in the rear axles. If we grab a handful of DAF and look underneath, we see that the front wheels spin easily, but at the back things are not quite so smooth. And that seems to be because there's quite a bit of play in the rear axles, so they foul a little bit when they turn. At the front, the linked steering is typical WSI because it has a limited range of movement. So here we have it set, so if you're going to go round a corner in this truck, make sure it's a very wide corner. The DAF cab does tilt forward well, and the engine underneath is particularly good and nicely detailed. Let's move on to the trailer before we come back to the Palfinger. And it appears to be a Denison extendable trailer which we've seen a number of times before. It features very good suspension on the rear axles. And at the front the landing legs are good because they have smooth pistons and not ugly screw threads. One small issue is that the 5th wheel on the DAF sits a bit high, so not all of the wheels of the trailer are properly grounded. An option on the trailer is that you can add metal deck posts if you want them. They press in and they're a good fit. But the major feature on the trailer is that it's extendable, and to use that feature you just pull it and it smoothly opens, giving you a significantly longer trailer. A flatbed can carry a variety of loads, but let's add a couple of site construction containers to see how it looks. Moving on to the Palfinger, and it's a big one, it's a PK 15002, which is also a big number. To keep it steady we need to pull out the outriggers and they are free stage and pull out and rotate down. And you can use a nice paint-tipped pin to lock it into position. The leg screws down, revealing a nice smooth piston, and there are small spreader plates supplied which can go underneath the pad. The rear outriggers are 2-stage beams and they work in the same way, and here's the model all set up, and let's open up the Palfinger. The first thing to say is that the big rams are extremely stiff, and they're a bit sticky and jerky in action, but at least they will certainly hold a pose. Pulling out the sections of the multi-stage telescopic boom is easy enough. There's enough friction between them to be able to hold a pose, so let's see how high it can go. And with our old friend the tape measure out, it reaches 15 inches or 38 centimetres. Of course high is high but long is long, and with the trailer extended we're at 21 inches or 54 centimetres. This is yet another very high quality heavy haulage model from WSI, and as it's a very functional model, many interesting poses can be set. However, the main plus point is that it reflects the real truck very well, and so it's a really attractive, good looker. Overall it's a nice enough model to be classed as outstanding.